I'm James Waggoner, and welcome to Getting Into Financial Shape, where we're going to give you some common sense tips on getting started on setting and reaching your financial goals. Now, these are tips that virtually every financial planning expert uses. The secret is how to make them work for you. Now, in my career on Wall Street, I've advised the largest financial institutions in the world, as well as people just like you and me, on how to achieve their financial goals and dreams. Occasionally, it's been really easy, but most of the time, honestly, it takes a lot of focus. But now I'd like to share the benefits of my experiences with you. Starting with this segment, we're going to address a series of topics that have been selected to address the most important money issues facing families today. We'll be talking a lot about numbers, but we don't want to lose sight of the human habits and forces that drive our behavior. Money has occasionally been referred to as the root of all evil, but we hope to contribute to the notion that money can also be the root of dreams. And no matter what your dreams in life, you're probably going to need significant investments to make these dreams affordable. But before worrying about investing, you should get your finances in order. And how do we do this? Well, consider the following guidelines. First and foremost, pay off those credit card debts. We'll be talking more about this later, but credit card debts are public enemy number one when it comes to financial freedom. If you're spending all of your earnings paying credit card interest, there is no way ever that you'll be able to put money aside. Next off, have a cash reserve to cover unpredictable events. Now, ideally, this should be an amount equal to about 3 to 6 months of your income. Have a 401k, an IRA, or a Roth IRA. We'll tell you more about this later, but the important thing is be sure to take advantage of your employer's matching contributions. This is a great savings vehicle, and the contributions that you make are taken from your pre-tax earnings. So best of all, taxes on accumulations are deferred. Protect against risk. Most people don't think about this, but you need to have an adequate insurance to cover things like life, health, and in some cases, disability insurance. If you sit behind a desk in the service industry, that's one thing. But if you're engaged in a physical occupation like construction, one slip and you could be permanently out of work. Okay, let's get realistic here. You say this is good advice, but it's nothing new. My problem is execution. Well, I've got so many financial responsibilities right now, I don't have a hope. Well, it may seem that way, and I understand. But the reality is that most things that we really want in life are achievable. What keeps us from achieving our dreams is often that we don't want them badly enough, or we simply don't know where to begin making changes. I can't make you want something more passionately, but I can help you get started on getting what you want. It all begins with something simple called a budget. Now, I know that most people's eyes glaze over the minute the word comes up, but we're going to overcome this if we think of a budget as a list of our life's wishes. So before we begin the process, I would like each and every one of you to have a clear vision of 3 things that you would like to have if you had $250,000 right now in your pocket today. For me, it'd be a 42-foot sailboat and, of course, a small crew to take care of it. But for you, it would be something else. It could be an exotic car, a vacation home, expensive jewelry, or it could be something more spiritual, such as art. But whatever it is that you choose, be very selfish and make sure you want it badly. Now, getting started on this budget, let's first of all address the most important notion, and that is, it's a family affair. Money is one of the great battlegrounds in a family. It's the factor responsible for most of the divorces, the subject married couples argue about more than any other topic. Financial stress can come from many sources, but one of the most difficult is when one spouse is a spender and the other is a saver. Attitudes towards money are deeply ingrained in our psyche, and they're not easily changed. But don't despair. If you find yourself engaged in a struggle with a spouse who is your opposite when it comes to savings and spending, then there are several things you can do to promote harmony. First of all, involve the whole family in budgeting and bill pay. Have a list of agreed-upon goals. Encourage one another to be honest. No secret bank accounts here, no secret credit card accounts. The state of California offers free budgeting guidelines at www.ca.gov. Now, here is the budget model that they suggest. We suggest that you use it to compare your spending. Very few families will match exactly the percentage in the California model, But if your family spending is way out of line with the percentages below, it's definitely a red flag indicating the need for change. Okay, so here we go. Housing, 30%. Healthcare, insurance, and medical, 10%. Food, 16%. Clothes, 5%. Sorry, that's going to be very small for some of you. Transportation, 15%. Entertainment, 7%. And miscellaneous, 3%. After that, we add savings at 10% and all other debts at 5%. Now, obviously, lifestyles in different parts of the country will influence how the mix of expenses will vary from family to family. And we recognize that one very significant expenditure, namely education, is missing. However, if you find that 60% of your income, for example, is going to entertainment, well, you don't need to go any further to find out a rich source for expense reduction. Now, how do we begin the process? First, identify your spending. Now, we recommend looking at your spending in 2 ways. First, in order to make any sense, you should measure your spending over a reasonable period of time, such as a year. If you itemize your expenses for tax purposes, then your tax returns are a ready source of information. If you don't itemize, then your best bet is to assemble your credit card statements and your bank accounts. If you're lucky, some of your credit card companies offer a free spending analysis that's provided periodically to you during the year. This can be a good static analysis of your spending, but we also recommend that a daily accounting for each adult family member is a great way to really put some dynamic into the spending equation. What this involves is keeping receipts for everything that is spent, that is both cash and credit card receipts, for a period of 90 days. Now, this sounds like a painful task, but it's a powerful tool. Unlike the mortgage, rent, or car payments, utilities, etc., which are all pretty much fixed expenses of living, our daily spending is almost entirely variable. In other words, with our daily spending, we can find amazing ways of creating savings by either consuming less or getting more value for our dollars. But until we have an accounting for where this money is going, we're helpless to make any change. Evaluate your spending and set a goal to reduce everyday spending by 20%. 20%, wow, that sounds like a lot, but here are some simple suggestions. Eliminate the use of credit cards. This is the single most important action. If Americans were free of credit card debt, they would have more than $2 trillion to fill their dreams. If you're comfortable with plastic, terrific, but use a cash card or a debit card instead. Next, postpone large ticket purchases. Hey, flat panel TV prices may be falling dramatically, but nobody's offering them free. Chances are prices are going to continue to fall. Oftentimes that must-buy now urge passes with time. Plan your travel more wisely to conserve gas. If you wash your car 4 times a month, wash it 3 times. If you go to Starbucks every day and spend $5, go 5 times a week and spend $4.50. It all adds up. Instead of dining out, or worse yet, buying fast food, cook at home 3 nights a week. There are countless ways to extend these examples. The point is, you don't have to deprive yourself, you merely have to find ways of reducing. And yes, there may be those of you who have gone through this exercise before and still haven't socked away any savings. In this case, there may be some expenses which just may have to be eliminated, but it's worth the trouble. You have to prepare for the future. Once you've gotten your arms around your existing spending and identified pathways for savings, then you're finally ready to take a realistic look at the future. Again, sit down with a family, pencil and paper, or in some cases an Excel spreadsheet in hand if you prefer. And in preparing your income and spending budgets, keep in mind the following. Don't include income in your budget that's uncertain. Things such as year-end bonuses, tax refunds, or gains on your investments. When you receive that money, just put it aside for savings. Next up, make your budget flexible. Make it flexible enough to handle unforeseen expenditures. Nothing goes exactly as planned, and your budget should be able to deal with these emergencies. Be sure to include large periodic expenses such as insurance premiums or school tuition. Find ways of making savings component of your budget happen automatically. Get the money out of your bank account and into an investment account before you have the chance to spend it. If you're like me, money burns a hole in my bank account. Let's take a look at the financial planning process now, because a budget is just the beginning. Getting into the budgeting habit is the first step to achieving the dreams that you are passionate about, but it is only the beginning of a process that, if practiced, will become a long and rewarding process. But remember, review your budget about every 6 months to ensure that you're on track and able to adjust as family circumstances change. Over time, you may wish to seek help of an outside financial expert to help you on major issues such as retirement planning, college tuition issues, estate planning, investment advice. Each of these items may seem overwhelming at the outset, but here's a little secret. There is an unexpected reward here, and it's called peace of mind. Peace of mind that comes when financial fears are reduced and family stress is eliminated. Some people find that these benefits are often as valuable as achieving their long-term dreams. Okay, so there are a few tips on getting started, but there are many, many more to come. In our next edition, we're going to drill down into the financial issue of, are you drowning in debt? Many people are, and if you're one of them, you'll want to click on to that topic. I'm Jim Waggoner. Thanks for joining us, and I'll be looking for you on our next edition.